Well, good evening, everyone. Oh, looks like it's not streaming.
Mine just turned to 10 o'clock.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Looks like we actually are streaming. YouTube said we weren't. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone who is here tonight. We've got an excellent show lined up for you. Cologero Gets from Where We Go One, We Go All is here in the studio. Well, you know, by way of magic. We have an excellent show lined up. We're going to be talking about Project Looking Glass, the time travel adventures of Baron Trump, and so much more. There's a lot of stuff that ties into this, guys, and it's a lot of fun to talk about. So please get ready to have a great time tonight. We're going to be right back and talk about all of this after a very brief word from our sponsor. So don't go away. We will see you all in a moment. Hey guys, I spoke with My Patriot Supply the other day, and we were talking about how people prepared from like 2010 to 2016 versus how they're preparing now. And they said they noticed it seemed like a lot of people just stopped preparing when the last occupant of the White House left, as if everything that was being prepared for was just having to do with either him or HRC. But if you do think that, then you're wrong. It's so much more than that. Just imagine the deep state. Imagine what they're willing to do to get their power back. You know, destroying the Constitution, subverting due process, destroying people who are innocent and who've done nothing wrong. Just imagine what's going to happen if they come back into power. Now, I'm not saying I think that's likely. I don't think it is. But personally, I'd rather not be caught off guard. We prepare because the threats we face are bigger than any one single thing. And because of that fact, I've partnered again with My Patriot Supply, and I think that you guys should too. So right now you can save $70 on a 2-week food kit, and you'll get guaranteed 2-day delivery. And it's at preparewithredpill78.com. Now the offer won't last, but the good news is that My Patriot Supply will. And don't think you can't afford to not prepare, because they have a lot of different payment options and plans to fit any budget, so you don't have to wait. Get ahead of the chaos today and go to preparewithredpill78.com. That's preparewithredpill78.com. And remember, when you support My Patriot Supply, you support this channel. All right, guys. Once again, thank you for all coming tonight. I do appreciate it. I already have a couple of thank yous I have to give. Eddie Mitchell, he says, thank you both of you for all you do to keep us informed. And Catherine Good, thank you very much for that sticker. Do appreciate it. We've got so many people here already. I see my mods, Crystal Lynn, my mother, Real Red Pill 78 mom, and I saw Jojo K. I'm sure that I will see a bunch of other people as time goes on. So please, without further ado, welcome to the show, Cologero from Where We Go One, We Go All. How are you, my friend?
What's up, buddy? How's it going, man?
It is excellent. Glad that you are here.
Yeah, psyched to be here.
So this will be your second time on the program, and you said before we got started, this is only your second time live streaming ever. Is that right?
Ever, yeah.
Ever. Okay, well, I'm very honored to be the person who is helping you to do this live streaming. It's a lot of fun, and it is a little bit nerve-wracking. I won't deny that, even for me, doing it every weekend, you know, but it's still, it gets easier. It gets to be a lot of fun.
Oh, definitely. You're in the groove, man.
Yeah.
That's, no, for sure. But yeah, I guess a little nerve-wracking, but fun, exciting. I got some equipment that I've been thinking about live streaming eventually, but
well, good stuff.
So this would be cool. This would be a cool little lead-in to that.
Break it in, and we will get you on the bandwagon, because I know that you've got a lot of subscribers. Many people would want to tune in and see you, because you got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. That's one of the reasons I really like your channel, is that you have a nice variety of things. That's you know, that's one of the things I always tried to mold on myself, is not to be a one-trick pony. I want to talk about multiple things. You know, I want to have a variety of subjects. You do that very, very well.
Yeah, well, you know, I like looking into all different things, and sometimes when you're looking for stuff, it just takes me in so many different spots. We're like, all right, that's a good idea for a video next time, or, you know, just digging. There's so much stuff to dig on, and it's just really interesting. I've been having a lot of fun kind of breaking down everything, how everything works, and just really, this is just me documenting my red pill journey in a way. In a way, these videos are my notes. So, I could go back. Oh, I know I did a video on that a year ago. I remember a decent amount, but go back and watch that and, kind of re-upload the file in a way.
Right. I feel you there. Isn't it neat to have the ability to go back and kind of see where you were at that point in time, and then compare it to where you are now? Like, how would I make that different now? Like, what would I do in a different way?
Oh, 100%. And I have videos that I would love. I mean to in the future, like that I would love to just go and maybe not completely redo, but maybe change a thing or two, or, maybe you go back, work on this thing for so many hours and days. You upload it, you're proud of it. And then someone's like, that meme at 3:43 is Photoshop, and you're like,
yeah,
and it's just, I guess that's the bad part of putting so much stuff in videos. Sometimes maybe things will go through, but, I try to note it in the info box, and it's in my head. And one day I will go back and, do some stuff. But for the most part, I think everything's been pretty good,
I mean, it's inevitable, something that you're going to put in your video, especially when you're doing compilations of things or when you're working at like the breakneck speed of news today. Something's going to, sneak its way through. I mean, the only thing that I think is important is just making sure you take ownership of it. I mean, like nothing's worse than when somebody gets something wrong and then they dig their heels in. Okay.
Well, they get mad about it.
Yes.
Like, listen, dude, I'm just trying to tell you, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm looking out for you, brother.
Yeah, exactly. No, I try to put it for anyone who watches my videos, check the information box. First of all, I noticed people don't check the information box for anything. People ask me questions all the time that's in the info box.
Don't ask people to read, dude. Don't ask people to read.
But I have or it's all the time people are like, oh, what's your Patreon? Do you have a BitChute and stuff like that? I'm like, yeah, the links are in every single video.
There you go. But, well, you know what I realized this after a while is that maybe for somebody who's very familiar with YouTube, it's second nature. Everything is always going to be there. But there's some people who like only go on YouTube and then maybe they just watch the videos. Like they don't look through the comments, or they've never, realized that if you hit that button, in the description, then all pops down.
Yeah, so. No, for sure, man. I would never disparage anyone for it.
Of course not.
But it was certainly eye-opening,
Yeah. I did want to say Carl Weathers, the incomparable Carl Weathers, who I just watched in the final episode of The Mandalorian tonight, said that Craig Mason is a great resource for alternate viewpoints on our favorite Anon. Carl, just want to make sure that you're aware that he is going to be on the program tomorrow. So make sure to tune in tomorrow if you want to see a conversation with me and Craig Mason. Craig is a great guy too. Do you know who Craig is?
What is it, like the respectable,
reasonable conversation channel?
Yes. No, he's the man, dude. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a fan.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And before him, Joanna Chestnut is going to be on. She wrote a book called Liberals Lied to Me. Kind of her documentation of, coming around, realizing that everything she'd been taught was a falsehood. So that's a good thing. Two good interviews tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in for that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. I love those accounts, man. I really was enjoying, and I still watch them from time to time, a lot of the walk away videos and stuff like that. It's just like, how could you not be upset once you start looking into things? They're all over the place. They don't search. Like, you'll watch a clip on MSNBC or one of these, and they'll say XYZ, and I'm like, oh man, really? People send me a clip, and then I'll look into it. It almost never is true. It's remarkable how much stuff they can get through. Even just in the simplest terms. With the president, they're still pushing the racist card,
or the Russian card, even
the Russian card. It's like I have so many clips, and things saved, and it's like, I'm fairly certain he's not racist. A Russian agent. Yeah. You guys know, you're talking about Donald Trump, right? He hasn't exactly not been hiding,
right?
But when I look up things, I try to look before 2015. I feel like 2015 and on is kind of tainted.
I really don't take any sources from most of the mainstream media, even before that, I mean, before 2015, I mean, they were still lying, but I just feel like they weren't lying as flagrantly, you know? I mean, it was like all full stop. You know, we know that Donald Trump is a real threat to our way of life. We have to do everything in our power, starting now, to make sure that we just disparage him and make people hate him. So it got real bad. I do need to say thank you to God's daughter. She said, Merry Christmas, Red Pill. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to everybody here. Well, speaking of Christmas, Cologero, how was your Christmas, buddy?
The Christmas was fantastic. You know, I have a big, great family, so as always, it's always a good time. It's probably my favorite holiday.
Did you entertain, or did you go and travel?
No, I went to my brother's house.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I usually go out to Long Island.
Okay.
But my mother's a nurse and she was on call, so
that's
we had to keep it local this year.
Okay.
But,
all right, not bad.
It's still, you know, Christmas was great. How was your Christmas?
Christmas was good. I did entertain. My mom and my daughter were here, cooked dinner, had turkey, sweet potatoes. My mom made sweet potato pie. That was real good. Man, but yeah, lots of presents, lots of fun. So
yeah.
Well, so listen, you know, we'd originally hooked up again because, you know, obviously a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we had the whole Project Looking Glass thing pop up. And, you know, that was something that I had heard about before. And then, you know, as a result, a lot of us made videos about it. But you made like an hour-long video tying in basically every single time travel and future proves past scenario that you could in terms of all of this stuff that we've been researching. And I thought that you did a really, really good job on it.
Thank you. And, you know, your viewers should know I don't typically make hour-long videos.
Yeah.
That was just that much stuff. And I kind of set off to make a sort of, all right, I looked into it. It looks like they might have some sort of, you know, AI probability device, you know, video. And then the more I looked into it, it was just like more stuff. And it was like, am I about to make a time travel might be real video? Like, it was like, I kind of didn't, you know, it's a little nerve wracking. You know, I try to keep my videos very grounded. That's why I always try to show my sources, you know, it's time consuming, but I like that. And this is a very not grounded video. And that's why I tried to make a point. I think like 3 or 4 times during it, I try to say like, hey man, you know, this is just fun, open mind. What if, let's consider the possibilities, you know? And, man, there's a lot of stuff. It's kind of like, you know, I can never be 100% sold on something so crazy, like something so out of the norm like that. But, you know, like with something like time travel, at some point we got to eventually see this equipment or else it doesn't exist.
Oh, yeah.
Which, you know, I'm not saying now, but, you know, maybe down the line or something. But, you know, I put it right. It's in the description box. I came away from this a good 90% sold. I mean, it's just like, it's incredible. And, you know, like you were saying with like the Barron Trump books, that really blew my mind. All that above all.
Was that the first time you had heard about those? Like when you started researching this, or had you heard about it in the past?
I had heard about it. In my head, it was like, all right, that's a cool coincidence.
It's cute. That's cute.
You know, and I started looking into them, especially like the last president. And it's just like, dude, what is going on here? You know, it's all of a sudden you start blowing your mind and be like, what do I really know about this world, you know? Right.
You know, what's crazy is that, you know, when we had talked before, you mentioned that, you know, in the video you said, you know, until Donald Trump became president, these books were relatively unknown. I have not been able to find a single person who had ever heard of them or who had ever seen them until it comes around and all of a sudden he's president. And now, you know, these books exist and obviously everybody's talking about them. Let's run through the timeline here. Okay, so obviously these books, if we're going to go through the timeline, we're going to go from start to finish. These books were written when? In the early 1900s, late 1800s?
The late 1800s. I believe, let's see if I could pull it up here.
And there's 2 books we're talking about.
There's 2 books.
All right.
This isn't giving me, they're the late 1800s, like 1890s.
Okay.
I want to say. But there's 2. There's Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, and then there's Little Baron. You know what? Actually, I should share my screen on this.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to say thank you to Berserker Bear. Said Merry Christmas, Red Pill and Cologero, 2 of the best. 100 shared. Lexicondui, Berserker Bear, Dustin Kirby 83, Dustin Kirby 83. Is that your Twitter handle? I'll follow you. Momo says, Merry Christmas, Red Pill 78. Love from Hong Kong. Momo, stay safe. All right. Let's take a look.
Bear, it's my buddy Dustin.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. All right. So you have these, right? I was trying to find like when were they uploaded to some of these things. And you see here, it's like release date 2018, and then you have the next one, Little Baron Trump and his wonderful dog Broger, December of 2018. Then you have the last president, 2019. Like, how on earth? Like, maybe the last president. Okay, that's kind of an innocuous title. Little Baron Trump. I mean, come on, man. Trump loves this stuff. He puts his name on everything on planet Earth. The fact that there's a book with his name on it, this guy would totally know that.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that he would be pushing it like while he was on the campaign trail. Like, hey, look, I mean, it's just really cool. I mean,
exactly. It's a lot of fun. It's cool. Then I found another book by him, Ingersoll Lockwood, Washington, a heroic drama of the revolution. Okay. And it's like, it's about George Washington and revolution. But what's going on in Washington right now? A revolution. And it's just like, who is this guy? So I was trying to look like at him himself here. And, he's military. Trump likes to surround himself with military. So whatever. That could mean whatever. That's just a happenstance.
Well, here, Jimaculate is in the chat, and he's saying that we have glossed over something. So let's just start at the beginning. Jim, a bunch of us took Project Looking Glass as a drop in the Q drops, and we started looking into it. Project Looking Glass was what, Cologero?
Project Looking Glass. Let's see if I could get a picture up here.
KB in West Virginia. His channel link is in the description. Thank you.
Project Looking Glass. This is a device that people were coming out in the mid 2000s and saying that they had worked on. It was a project, I believe going back to the 70s, where they could look at this thing and show future probable timelines and like actually watch future possible timelines. And what it was that apparently what people were saying is that the second you watch it, you sort of alter it to begin with, because now you know what it is. And they were saying that they were kind of using this to engineer these timelines, saying picking the timeline that they want and trying to make it happen. What are the steps we need to do this? And so, naturally I was a little skeptical. All right, see the future, but then when I started thinking of it in terms of like artificial intelligence and like, they have so much data on us. They've collected so much data on us over the years. It's like, all right, maybe it's possible. But when I started delving into it, these people were saying that they were reverse engineered from like the Sumerian cylinder seals and stuff like that. And they were kind of, they paralleled this technology called an Orion cube. They called it the yellow cube or the yellow book. Those are the three names for one single device. It was an 8-inch by 8-inch cube. And they were saying that this cube, same thing. You could look at future probabilities. It was alien tech. The one guy was saying he was, what's his name? Not Bashago, Dan Burish.
Yeah.
He was saying that they weren't aliens. They were actually they were humans from a future time, from like 50,000 years or a crazy amount in the future, that had come back with this technology. He was talking about the Orions. See, that was my one problem with some of the testimonies, is that they went off on such wild stories after talking about this tech.
Well, it requires a major suspension of disbelief. I mean,
right.
In order to believe that this tech exists, then you have to believe that human beings from 50,000 years in the future came back to the past and gave us this tech in order to secure themselves in the future, hopefully make a better future for themselves.
Well, that's what he was saying, that they were trying to prevent certain things that had happened, certain catastrophes that had happened in their future. And what I wound up realizing is that if this tech exists, of course all the stories would sound crazy.
Right,
We're
right.
talking about time manipulation here. And he was talking about things like that. And basically what I tried to do, at least when I was making a video, is I tried to just isolate what they were saying about the tech, about this device, and I was running into several other devices. There was a chronovisor they were talking about that people in the Vatican, had Gemelli had done the same thing, sort of the same tech, working with vibrations and frequencies and things, and that he had come upon. And same thing, just like windows into the past, windows into the future, and sort of being able to bend the space-time continuum a little bit. And the more I started delving into it, it kind of seemed somewhat possible. So that's what then made me look at the Baron Trump books and be like, hey, is there something to these,
All right, so now having explained Project Looking Glass, let's make sure that Jim and the audience understand what these books are. So Ingersoll Lockwood was an author who in the late 1800s wrote a series of books about a marvelous young adventurer named none other than Baron Trump.
Yes.
And what happened in those books? There was 3 books, right? Not just 2? Wasn't there
two Baron Trump books and then The Last President?
Okay. Oh, and The Last President was not connected to the Baron Trump books, but it just thematically, it kind of runs together with President Donald Trump's presidency.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Right. They're separate, but The Last President then really parallels Donald Trump, his presidency. It starts off with an outsider, non-politician candidate winning the presidency, much to the chagrin of the masses and to the elites and stuff, and they're pissed. And there's riots in New York, or like protests, not necessarily riots, just like we had in New York. They talk about them going to I forget, they mention a building on Fifth Avenue, the Fifth Avenue Hotel or something, which Trump Tower is on Fifth Avenue, and it's a hotel.
Yeah.
And it's just, and it goes through all these things, and it's just like, how is this possible? How is the guy that wrote 2 books about Baron Trump using portals to go into magical places, also then has a book that's completely paralleling the Trump presidency? It's quite remarkable, and it certainly shouldn't be ignored. And like I said, then I found that other one that talks about Washington and revolution, which is, you can argue with the Q drops and everything that's going on, that there is a bloodless coup going on in Washington right now.
Right.
A sort of revolution, a revolution of the mind, certainly with all the researchers.
Well, so take us through the Baron Trump books.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is some interesting stuff right here.
I stopped the screen sharing until you were ready to get into it.
Yeah. No.
Right.
That was good.
While you're pulling that up, I just need to say Floriccio said, it's obvious that the White Hats, Q and Q Plus, have the looking glass. Q is always dropping clues months in advance, and Trump is very confident. Merry Christmas, Red Pill. Don't ever miss your show. Your shows and guests are so eye-opening. Thank you, Flor. Appreciate your support. Dana Finkler says, check out Sam Tripoli's For the Record series. I have seen it recently, Dana. It is a good show. Sam and I are going to be doing some more shows together in the very near future. Heather Taylor, thank you for that sticker. I do appreciate it. And so I just lost my train of thought. But here is, right here on the screen, this is the travels and adventures of little Baron Trump and his wonderful dog, Bulger. Now, what? So give us the basic plot of this book, and then tell us the significant portions of it that kind of dovetail with Baron Trump himself and President Trump.
Right. So right off the bat, this is the illustration in the book. I mean, look at the mouth. Look at the mouth. Look at the chin. Look at the part in the hair. It actually looks like Baron Trump to boot. Besides it being the same name, it actually looks like him. He comes from Castle Trump. The real Baron Trump grew up in Trump Tower. So he's coming from a residence with his name on it. He is given the key to this underground lair from the Master of Masters, which we say, like, if you look at all the leaders of the world, right? They're the master of their country.
Yep.
Really, the United States kind of leads the pack, the master of masters. And his name is Don Fume, the Don, you know, the Donald.
Donald.
It's kind of insane like that. And then you have, they call doorways all throughout this book portals, right? Portals, which, you know, is a word for a door.
It kind of calls into, you know, the idea of looking glass though too.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That was all the terminology with looking glass, going through portals, opening portals. And they were saying, and he was saying, even with the looking glass, that you could use it. Dan Burish was saying, if you tilted it on a 45-degree angle and tweaked the frequencies, that you could actually use this thing as a so-called Stargate, you know, to traverse through time. So that was interesting, I found. Then, you know, it goes through. It's an adventure all through. You know, he's this underground place. You know, it's a fantasy novel. It goes different places.
Kind of a Hollow Earth story, isn't it?
Yeah,
like he goes to the inner portions of the Earth.
The inner portions of the Earth, exactly.
Yeah,
and you know, there's certain things like when he's here with the culty quirps, and they're talking about that they originally from Greenland. I thought that was interesting that, you know, Donald Trump had toyed around with buying Greenland, but, you know, just stuff like that. That's just, you know, that could just be a coincidence. But then if you go to chapter 17,
chapter
17, they mention the time house.
Oh, wow.
You know, and like, you know, and this is the only time in the book where they mention a time house. You know, he's saying we keep time there, but it's just like, come on, man. And now if you go further, you know, and then in chapter 17, they break down, the one guy tells young Baron Trump, you know, the ridiculousness of our court system. You know, two parties spending entire fortunes hiring witnesses to come before these judges. You know, he goes into it more in the beginning. So I thought that was interesting, since, you know, this is a battle in the courts, really, a lot of this stuff. But here's where I think it gets interesting. Chapter 19, there's a typo, you know, a coincidental typo. Instead of an I, they have a T. Now, T is not a Roman numeral. Now, this isn't like an old thing, because chapter 9 is chapter 9.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you showing the book on your screen? Because all I see is the page of
yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'm just showing the chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, chapter. Okay, yeah. So T is not a Roman numeral. So this is technically chapter 19. So if you take out the T, what do you got? XX 20. The next chapter is 20. 2020. Or if you put the T back in, Trump 2020. In that chapter, dude,
Trump 2020
gets better. This is chapter 20. Anon, a group, would halt, join hands, and begin to exchange thoughts by lightning-like pressures. You know, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
The Great Awakening. We're all exchanging thoughts and all this stuff, right? And then what others would dash to try to break them apart, and confusion would reign greater than ever. But gradually, I noted that some of order seemed to be coming out of the movements of this mad throng. Here and there, groups of 3 and 4 would form and clasp hands, and then these smaller circles would break and form into larger circles. And I noticed, too, that this ever-increasing circle was formed on the outside of a panic-stricken crowd. You know, everyone's freaking out right now as we're trying to be like, look at all the stuff we found. It's all right. And as it grew, it shut them in with a fleeting subsidy is the people that he finds. That this is the people that he's with right now in the book. When they hurled up against his steady line, his terror left him at once, and he took place in it. So, you know, as people are like, oh, the Great Awakening, all this stuff you're saying is crazy, and then once you show them, no, dude, it's backed up. You know, it's they're like, oh, okay, I'm on board. And in a few moments, the madly pushing, jostled throng had disappeared entirely, and the whole city was girt round these long, steady lines. The great circle had been formed. The Great Awakening, maybe? I mean, is this talking about the movement? I mean, like...
Did he just, in the book, he said the Great Awakening?
He says the Great Circle has
the Great Circle.
At the end of this thing that says Anon, a group, is exchanging thoughts.
Well, Anon, the group is enough for me right there. You know, the fact that it...
And you think about, like, oh, it started with smaller groups. You know, think about, like, people, you know... You have your Discord with different people. You know, I have a group chat with 2 of my buddies who used to be in the band with me.
Yeah.
We're always throwing stuff back and forth, you know, these small groups. Now they're forming into larger groups. It's definitely growing. You know, there's probably 100 million people worldwide who are watching this.
And you can, I mean, you look at, you know, any of the social media platforms that we use, you know, and then people coming together in larger groups like what we have right here. We've got 3,229 people watching right now. Okay. And, you know, I mean, it just grows exponentially. Okay. I mean, this, you know, this might not be what we think it is, but what if it is? Okay. And
exactly.
if it isn't, then it is still an incredible coincidence. And what have we been told on a number of occasions? That there is no such thing as coincidence. So
that's coincidence. Yeah. People come, I get doomers in the comments from time to time. And I feel like it's just like, all right, say this turns out to not be what we thought it was. You might as well you might as well wake some people up in the name of it. You know, like,
yes,
this is real. The stuff we're uncovering is all real.
And Harpazo Girl reminds us that didn't Q say that POTUS opened the door of all doors? Remember when that was said? Okay, this is something that I do remember, and it really was said, and it was never specifically answered. What is the door of all doors? Well, I would think that the ability to travel through time, to go through a portal, that would be the door of all doors.
Yeah, I would say so, you know. And here's the, you know, and this was, you know, the most exciting paragraph that I found in the book. And I just love that it's in chapter 20, which is on the heels of Trump 2020.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that was one of my favorite things that I found when I was looking into it. And another interesting thing I found about Ingersoll Lockwood is that, what's down here? All right. So he was a lawyer. 1862, he was appointed consul to the Kingdom of Hanover by Abraham Lincoln. All right. Abraham Lincoln knew Ingersoll Lockwood, the guy who wrote these books.
Wow.
Like, you know, and even like, it's just like, you know, this isn't a nobody right here. This guy knew President Lincoln. And you know, what was I going to say? The Kingdom of Hanover, just for a little sidetrack. Yeah, I like getting sidetracked. That was started at the Congress of Vienna, which was really the first attempt at the UN. The Congress of Vienna was after the Napoleonic Wars. They tried to do a UN style thing. Then after that, you know, that failed. Then they tried the League of Nations after World War I, and finally succeeded with the United Nations after World War II. But yeah, so, you know, it's like, I don't know, you know, on some level, it's like, I don't know what to make of all this. On another level, it's like, why is this all connected? Like, why does it link up? How is the guy that wrote this book know Abraham Lincoln? Mm-hmm. How are there paragraphs in there? How are they so close to reality?
Well, and Peapod also makes the observation that President Trump frequently will reference Abraham Lincoln. Need to say thank you to Carol Blitz and also to Star Karma. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. You guys, when we do the call-in, you guys are going to have so much fun because I can't wait to talk to you guys about this stuff. This is going to be great.
Yeah, that seems like a fun part. This is obviously the part that really, when I was making the video, this blew my mind. That there's an Ingersoll Triumph is like a normal pocket watch that they make.
Yes.
But for a brief time in the 40s, which is right around the time, I believe Tesla passed away in 43.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Trump's Uncle John had looked over his stuff.
Well, wait a second. Before we get to the Tesla stuff, was there anything else in the Baron Trump books that we should touch upon before we move forward in time?
Yeah, I'd say that was pretty much it. Given the key by the Don, you know, and then traversing portals, and then just different things like that. You know, with the 2020 was my favorite one. And then, you know, with the Anon, a group, and the exchanging ideas, and, you know, the Great Circle and stuff like that. But yeah, no, the Last President is the one that really, really parallels everything.
Honest Content said something about Lockwood not aging. Did you find anything interesting about him in terms? No. Did you find any comparatively like older or younger pictures of him? Was there anything you could look at?
You know, this was really the only one I hadn't tried to look at too many pictures, but you know, most of the ones that came up, I think, were just copies of this.
All right. Well, here, if we're done looking at the Barron Trump book, let's stop the screen sharing and let's go into full screen. And let's talk about the Tesla stuff, because for Jim and everybody else's sake, I don't want to assume that people have already seen the programs that I've done talking about this. So, this has been talked about openly, and this is not speculation. Okay, this is actual fact, and this kind of reinforces the reason why we're asking these questions about time travel and whether or not this could be something that's legitimate. So please, Cologero, take us through that.
So what I found when I was trying to look at different people talking about the technology, I was trying to just look for different accounts just in general of people talking about time travel. And one of the ones that stuck out to me, who used a lot of words like, oh, it was run with booms. We're always talking about booms and, just things like this, was Andrew Basiago. Mm-hmm. And he had claimed that this technology was derived from Tesla's work, that they had found things. And, and Tesla famously was obsessed with time travel. And he was saying that in his notes that I believe it was DARPA had found that they were working with this and they had figured out ways to use it, that his father at the Edison labs had recapitulated some of Edison's experiments, and that he was magnetizing cylinders. They were like dropping pennies through them and they were gone. And he had someone come up to him, and he said in one of his lectures, he had someone who swore it was from Montclair. I forget what it was, but the town he was in, I think Edison's lab was in Montclair, but the town this guy was in was like one of the towns right next to him. As a New Jerseyan, I can vouch for that. They're both in North Jersey, right next to each other. And this guy had said he had found a 1940. He had said something like he found a 1946 penny in 1942. It was something like that. It was a couple years over. And now, so he was saying,
Andrew Basiago was he's a lawyer. I believe he lives now in the Pacific Northwest, something like that. And he had claimed to have kind of grown up as the son of an elite scientist in some of these programs. And they worked on these teleportation time travel experiments together. And if I'm not mistaken, the most famous story that Andrew has told was that during one of these experiments, he was teleported back to Abraham Lincoln's speech, his address at Gettysburg. And as proof of that, there is a photograph that was taken at Gettysburg of a small boy wearing like a man's coat and shoes and like a cabbie hat. And he's standing in the middle of this muddy field. Basiago claims that that's him, and that he was photographed there back in, 1864 or something. I don't know the exact date.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Before being transported back to whatever the present day was. And he was involved with something called Project Pegasus. Andrew Basiago is a fascinating character. I would love to have him on the show. Yes. But yes, so we're kind of drawing now from other people's testimony about their involvement with government time travel experiments.
Right. So I was trying to, just find different people who were talking about, Al Bielek was another one. And again, like I said, these stories, it's so crazy to hear people talking about like traveling to the future and traveling thing. And they were highly fascinating. It's something that's always fascinated me. There's a cool movie I used to love called Primer, where they create a time machine.
I've seen it.
Movie. Yeah. A local movie, indie film or whatever. But that was really cool. But it's just, man, they're kind of believable.
Well, let's go back now to Tesla's work, because how does Tesla intersect with Trump and his family?
Well, here's something that I thought was interesting, is that when Trump's grandfather, Frederick Trump, had come to New York, he had come to New York first, and he was, I believe, a barber. And then he had gone out west for a little bit, back to Germany. Then when he comes back to New York, it was, I believe, 1891, which is the time when Tesla was, he comes back to New York. He's wealthy by this point. We're rich, maybe not quite Donald Trump wealthy, but he had a decent amount of money. Tesla was famous at this time around New York. there's more than likely that they would be frequenting the same, social like gatherings, the things around the city. Like here's Tesla, he's a low key famous New Yorker. Here's Frederick Trump, he's got money, he's going to be in these circles. So I feel like there's a little bit of an overlap there, but really I think the huge connection is how they brought in John Trump to go over his work, all his work, and then he gave his synopsis was, "Oh, there's nothing really to see here," which we all know that's not true.
Well,
it's Tesla you're talking about.
yeah,
So that
exactly.
just seems like a little like, trying to keep some stuff to himself in a way.
Well, completely. I mean, it should be noted that when Tesla died, the FBI zoomed in and they immediately cleared out his hotel suite because he was living in a hotel at this point. As an old man, died a pauper basically with just all of his notes and maybe some experiments in the hotel. But they came in, they swept everything up. They took it in and they asked John Trump, Donald Trump's uncle, to go ahead and go over it. Now, something extremely interesting that may just be a tangent, but John Trump is the spitting image of Julian Assange, which WikiLeaks, they actually tweeted that out sometime last year. They said, oh, by the way, here is John Trump and here is, Julian. Very, very interesting stuff, So basically, the idea here is that if anyone was in a position to get the technology that might have been able to achieve something like time travel, right, it would have been John Trump, because he was he a physicist? He was some kind of a scientist.
Oh yeah, he was an MIT professor.
That's it.
A physicist, an electrical engineer. He was everything you would need to know to understand Tesla. I mean, this is why they brought him in. I mean, of all the people in the country, but this is the guy. Tesla was obsessed with electricity. He's an electrical engineer. He's a physicist. He can understand this stuff. He's a teacher. So, he's a guy who's dedicated his life to going through information, and making it relatable. And, and Trump always talks about his uncle. He talks about, oh yeah, he used to always talk about nuclear technology to me, before it was really a thing, and stuff like that. And I don't know. Did he groom him? Did he get this? Did he get this tech? I mean, there's other stuff too I was finding. Like there was something like the Sonora Club, it was called. And not necessarily time travel wise, but just like technology that people shouldn't have having technology at a time where you shouldn't have this technology. And I found that was a pretty interesting thing. Let me see. I'll show you a couple slides from that.
While you're looking for that, I'd like to know if you have any knowledge on Donald Trump's relationship with his uncle. I mean, what comments has he made about it? I mean, was he a significant impact on his life? Did they grow up in close proximity to each other? I mean, because I wasn't particularly close with any of my uncles. I have a whole slew of them. But I mean, it just, I would imagine, maybe in a wealthier family like that, you've got more time to spend with your family.
Yeah. I mean, I would, no, I don't have any actual quotes linked up, but they were very close. He talks about him a lot as if they were very close. It's his only uncle, his father's brother. And he talks about him in very high regard, said kind of like in terms of being a mentor. So they were absolutely okay. So, here's Trump's probably one of his biggest influences is the guy who went over Tesla's information after he died. And now here's something interesting that I was going to see. Now here's a guy, Charles Dachau, he claimed that in the mid 1800s, that he was part of a group called the Sonora Club that had discovered anti-gravity.
Can you make that document bigger?
Is it on my screen right now? It's the full size of the page.
Oh yeah, you know what? It's only sharing that window. So if you now that it's open, you got to go to share and then open that show that document.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Okay.
I see it now. What it was showing which window?
It was only showing Your Windows window with all of the documents in it.
Oh, okay. Let me see here. How's that? That's good?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Now, if I click over, did that change?
No, it's still showing that one document. Okay, wait, it did go to a different document. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So this guy, they had found his scrapbook in the 60s. It was on like a junk heap, but he had over 2,500 illustrations of all these different flying machines. Basically, they look like UFOs.
Okay.
And according to this guy, now again, this might not mean anything, but I just thought it was pretty interesting that I ran into this looking. Now, according to him, they had discovered a former for anti-gravity called MB gas, and that this club's mission was to design and build the first navigable aircraft using this. So he says he doesn't claim to be pilot or anything. He was just drafting it for them. So they find this notebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got all these things. They look more like UFOs than airplanes and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's going through them, right?
What they remind me of is Vimanas.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. They absolutely look like Vimana.
Yeah. Now, in case anybody doesn't know, a Vimana was something from the ancient Hindu texts. It was like Hindu holy books. I mean, I guess it'd be the Hindu equivalent of the Bible, but it's very old.
It's a little different though because there's just so many of them. Like it's not like a single book, but these are these ancient books, right? That the Hindus.
I guess it's more like just recorded information, really.
Right, exactly. Where they describe these big air battles that they had amongst these things that they observed. They said they came down from the stars, the whole nine. And it's funny, you're right. They absolutely remind me of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now here, so he had like scraps, here's from the Wright brothers and stuff, but then he also has his sketches from back in the mid 1800s. Yeah, this one, this is funny. This reminds me of Yoda's craft at the end of Revenge of the Sith when he lands on Dagobah.
Balanceer. Oh my God! It says Trump.
Trump 45. Aero Trump 45.
Oh my goodness.
Trump 45. I mean, this is from the mid 1800s. Talking about, what, like I said, like Dan Burish was saying that these UFOs, he believes that they're time travelers. These things look like UFOs, and they got the name Trump on them.
Wow. Now, were you able to find anyone named Trump that had any connection to this club? I mean, could it be that?
I don't know. I mean, I couldn't. He was Sonora, California. This is around the time, I guess, of the gold rush.
Yeah.
And Trump's grandfather, Friedrich Trump, he did go out west. But he went to Seattle. But it was in like the mid to late 1800s. And did he go through this? How easy was it to travel back then? Would you have to go through California and then up to Seattle? I don't know.
Aero Trump.
It's just I just thought that was.
I love it, you guys. Yeah. I get 45. So juiced talking about this stuff because I don't know if it's real or not, but it is exciting to think about.
Oh man,
I absolutely love it.
So freaking cool. And yeah, like here's Sonora, California. So, I'm not sure like how easy it would be. Maybe back then, talking about the mid 1800s.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have went through there. Maybe would have frequented the same things. But then, like I said, he comes back to America in 1892, rich after making a lot of money, servicing people at the Klondike Gold Rush up in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, if you're rich in Manhattan, I'm sure there's a million places where you can go and hang out. And there's these clubs that, we couldn't even get near the entrance of. Back then, how many stuff there was there for the higher, for the big names, for the rich people, for the celebrities of New York? It probably wasn't a crazy amount. And here he is, a rich man in New York City at the same time Tesla was famous in New York City. And now you have I found this.
So Bob Americana says need to carbon date it. Have these been authenticated? Like
those have been, yes. That guy's sketches go back to the 1920s, And then he claims it was from I believe 1858 that he was in this club. But the sketches go back to the 1920s. They were found in the 1960s. So that much, you know. And again, you know, it could be a coincidence.
Yeah.
You know, I know coincidences don't exist, but
expand your thinking
in the grand scheme of life obviously do. You know, I think coincidences don't exist mean like when you're looking up things in politics and it comes out that was probably by design, you know. But
VintageIC.com says, my best friend's daughter's uncle's brother's roommate's former's brother's dad's related by marriage told me that UFOs are real. Somebody like that told me.
There we go. All right. See, UFOs are real.
Solved. It's been solved. I need to do a couple of quick thank yous. Son of a Green Card said, guys, look at how many letters the author has in his name. Just more coincidence. Is that Ingersoll Lockwood, 17 letters? Red Pill Doc says, wow. Bill Cooper said the NSA was made to communicate with aliens. Q2222 about aliens equals 88. Chan, Kuhn, Team 8, Rogers, NSA, Q&A, circle bisected is a Q. Lots of different things there. Carol Blitz says, thank you, Carol. I do appreciate that. And then also Chris Hawkins, love to see all this patriotism. I still have my human trafficking story to tell while I was with the DHS, plus my Ice Cube bust. Chris Hawkins, email me right now, redpill78@protonmail.com so that I can find it. Michael Kenny says, don't need a time machine to outwit the DS. They dumb and loaded with hubris.
Amen to that, man. These
that's
people
great.
are stupid.
Hey, Wheezy Girl. She says I should check out Lisa May's retweet. Okay, so while you're moving on to the next segment there, I'm just going to pull up Lisa May's Twitter on my phone. Let's see what it says. Lisa May Crowley.
She's great.
Oh, yeah. The Tesla information released today by the FBI. And somebody said there's some interesting stuff in here. There was so many pages I didn't have time to go through it all today, guys. But let me see. There's a section here that is highlighted. So let me just see what it says. Received through... Okay, so much of the data for this book has been supplied to Mrs. Storm through transcripts received on the Tesla set, a radio-type machine invented by Tesla in 1938 for interplanetary communication. Tesla died in 1943, and his engineers did not build the Tesla set until after his death. It was placed in operation in 1950, and since that time, the Tesla engineers have been in close touch with spaceships. The space people have visited the Tesla engineers many times and have told us that Tesla was a Venusian, brought to this planet as a baby in 1856 and left with Mr. and Mrs. Tesla in a remote mountain province in what we now know as Yugoslavia.
What?
That's from the FBI. That's from the FBI.
What? Venusian, like from Venus, I guess?
From
Wasn't
Venus.
There someone like Valiant Thor, right? And they said this guy,
yes.
and he was supposedly from Venus. He came for a couple of years.
Yeah, he was staying at the Pentagon.
Staying at the Pentagon, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so much we don't know. I have no doubt. I've never disputed, questioned that. There's no way we're not in contact with these people. You know, these beings. You know, maybe they're, in my opinion. You know, obviously, I've never met an alien, so you know, I don't know for sure, but how could we not be? And as far as like as sightings, I personally think most UFOs are made on Earth.
Oh yeah,
I think the majority, especially now, all of a sudden there's all these sightings. There was one on ESPN the other day.
You mean live on the air?
Yeah, something. I should have. It was like in between a break. I think they showed it. I don't know if it happened live, but it went right behind the Washington Monument. And so they're getting ready. Like I feel like Space Force was
it's a soft disclosure, I think.
Soft disclosure.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they have these projects, but you know, it is good for people to know though that there's a lot of whistleblowers who've come out in the years and said that their main failsafe, the absolute end all be all, if they're going down, is fake alien invasion.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
We could talk about like, do I think they're real? I think they're absolutely real, but keep that in mind. That doesn't mean it's real. I mean, it's going to be real. They're going to, if they ever do that, there will be carnage with it. So, you know, they'll be like, this is fake, you know, and then like just stand there. But keep that in mind. You know, I think that, you know.
Now, I do need to say, Russell Warner said, did you guys see those white squall posts that were misspelled? If you ran the misspellings through a gematria matrix, you get white rabbit in the 4th dimension. That's very interesting. You know, there was something else that I thought we should run through a gematria. Shoot. Oh, yeah, I was thinking, why don't we run Ingersoll Lockwood's name through gematria?
Okay,
Gematrianator. It might be interesting. Mandy Bishop says, H. Mandy, thank you for your support. I appreciate that. Very, very interesting. Tesla was born during a lightning storm. You guys, if you have any information about any of this stuff, I'm going to request that you guys call in at 11 o'clock when we do the call-in. I've done a couple of things. I've made it so that when you call in, I've got to send you to a green room so I can only have one person on the air at one time. That way we're not talking over each other, and we don't have to worry about the feedback from my voice on your end of the phone. And then there really also should not be any need for you guys to enter in a password. If you are using the app on your phone or on your computer, you should just be able to jump right into the green room and wait. So, yeah, so before we get to the call-in, so was there any like major significant things that you had come across researching for this?
There were, you know, there was a couple things like, let me see. There's a quote by Nikola Tesla I found in a few places. Let me see if I find it here. This is just one place, which I thought was interesting around it, where it said that, all right, Tesla was said to be hit by 3.5 million volts in 1895. That he, New York Herald reporter had wrote, and another one says in an article in March 13th of 1895, that he had just been hit by 3 million volts of electricity, and that his assistant had to turn the power off or else he would have been killed. But Tesla apparently told this reporter that he was in contact with the resonance from the electromagnetic change. He had found that he went out of his space and time window. He said that he had been able to see the past, present, and future at the very same time. Now, you know, how do you corroborate a newspaper article from 1895? Now, what I thought was interesting is I tried to look them up, of course, and you can find the New York Herald, 1869. You know, they have them all the way up through 72, and then there's a gap where all the late 1800 ones are gone and start back up 1916.
So basically, in the formative years of Tesla's career, when they would have been covering him in depth.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't even make that correlation.
Yeah.
But I was just found it interesting that I was trying to find this. But yeah, that's right. Exactly. In his formative years, all these newspapers, they're gone. 1916. And, you know, first it was like, oh, they only have back to 1916. But that's not true, because they have older ones up there. And they stop right where I was trying to, you know, what I was trying to corroborate. So I thought that was interesting.
That is fascinating. Patricia Stevens, thank you for that super chat. Appreciate that. Very, very interesting.
One more point I kind of wanted to make was about Donald Trump in general. And you know, let me just share this one last thing I got here.
Okay.
So, how did he know to go to Manhattan? I don't think people realize, like, Manhattan was a burnt out ghetto where you got robbed and stabbed. You know, there was not people go on vacation there now, like it's Disneyland. This is not the case in the 70s and 80s. Donald Trump started there in 78 when it was like this. All right, here's a subway. This is what Manhattan looked like. Okay,
it was bad. It was bad.
Here's Times Square next to peep shows. Everyone was on crack.
Oh my gosh.
Here's a story. 79. Broadway restaurateur walked away from seedy Times Square. You didn't go to Times Square. You know, he's this guy was held up with someone with a 7-inch knife. You know, here's something from the New York Times. You know, and an article from 1980, the worst year of crime in New York City history. You know, they're going through all the numbers, 700,000, crimes reported, all this stuff, 50% greater rise than that of the nation. This is when everyone told him to stay away from Manhattan. His father was doing Brooklyn and Queens, buildings there. Everyone, you know, he knew people in the building industry, obviously. They were like, dude, no way. Don't go to Manhattan. When did he start? 78, 80, Trump Towers, 83. You know, his first major thing was to renovate the Commodore Hotel into the Grand Hyatt, and then and he made it beautiful. And you know, it's just like, again, this is what New York looked like when he was doing it. You know, it was
yes,
bad. Now this is what New York looks like. How did he know that you would make a fortune? If you could go to, like, if someone gave you $1 million right now, said, all right, go renovate a building, you know, would you go to Detroit right now and do it? Because that's basically what Donald Trump did. And how would you know? Like, I don't know. It's just like, this guy's made a lot of the right moves to where now you're looking at stuff like this and you're like, did they know? Like, him and Giuliani are two of the most integral parts of changing over Manhattan to what it was. You know, and people like to, I see people try to disparage Giuliani. Like, this guy saved the city.
He cleaned up New York. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. And Donald Trump one of the people started saying, look, this could be great again. Let's come here. You know, let's start
New
building
York
here.
great again.
Dude, the guy made New York great again.
Start small. I need to say thank you to Was That You for becoming a new member. Thank you very much, Was That You. And then Mandy Bishop says, this show will go down in history. Boom, you guys do not even realize what you've discovered tonight. Or maybe we do, Mandy.
Ooh,
That's why we brought it to you guys. This is so cool to talk about.
Love it, man.
And then I think Asperos von Lutzing was asking about the missing newspapers. It was the electronic editions from the formative period of Tesla's career as an inventor. Now, I know that Tesla got a lot of news coverage during that time because it's been covered in other things, but you can't go back and find it. Because he probably was talking about things that they don't want people knowing about. He was actively talking about free energy. He was actively talking about his death ray, which I think he was interested in using as a deterrent rather than, you know, the idea of nuclear energy. Yeah. And then Gaia's public health nurse says, God bless patriots. God bless all of you patriots. That's right.
Yeah. God bless you, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard Alderaan really lobbied to get the death ray taken away. I think they were really behind that. But.
Star Wars joke. We were
talking about the Mandalorian before this, so kind of like
we were. All right, you guys. I'm gonna drop this the call in the chat, and I want you guys to call in with your questions, comments, and stories if you have them. You know, I mean, maybe you worked in a secret government facility and you want to tell us about it. I mean, I want to know. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there. Again, all you need to do is use Zoom. You download the Zoom app, and then you call in using that. I'm also going to put it into the description of the video right below my sponsor information. And once again, if you guys want to sponsor the program, you can always support my sponsors. That means a lot. If you do like and share, if you want to make sure that you are subscribed and that your notifications are set both in the YouTube app and in the settings on your phone, make sure that those the notifications are turned on for YouTube so that you get the notifications when I drop a new video. Now, Cologero, I would be remiss without saying that there has been a new drop while we were on the video here.
Yes,
so
all right.
Let's go ahead and take a look, you guys. We're going to go over to camera 2. All right, so it looks like it. Oh man, it's a photo from inside Marine One, and it says, "When will they ask the question?" Now, so the title is the photo is 52 UFMDSR Grim 234.ping, and the title of the post is "Something Big is Coming." So, if this is an original picture, then that means that this picture was posted by someone on the president's detail.
Oh man, dude.
Yes. So that is really cool right there. So that
they almost always are. People try to backtrace them all the time, and they're always original pictures.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Dude, I mean, he's done everything short of just holding a 17 up. You know what I mean? Like,
well, exactly.
At this point, he retweeted not too long ago
that video,
an actual page with our favorite anon tagging it.
Yes.
You know.
Well, and then also, I believe it was just earlier today, there was a post with a video that was tagged where we go one, we go all. We do have our first caller, guys. Let's see. It's Aaron. Aaron, we're going to bring you in, buddy. Are you here?
Hello?
Aaron, what's up, my friend?
Hey.
Good to see you.
What's going on, man?
Good to see you too, man.
Excellent. So, Aaron, Cologero, Aaron, are you enjoying the program?
Enjoying it immensely. You
It's a
guys
good
are
one.
awesome.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. So, what is your question or comment, Aaron? I would imagine you know a fair amount about this stuff.
Well, yes. I'm glad you brought up Andrew Bisaggio because I think his story is very good.
I want to talk to him so bad.
Have you looked into Al Bielek's story?
Yes, I have. Somebody said I missed Q's comment. No, I said something big is coming. We definitely went over that, but we will continue to go over this after Aaron's comment.
You guys have uncovered this Barron Trump thing. I know that's been floating around, all over the place, but you guys nailed it down tonight. So that's incredible.
Thank you.
Big feather in your cap, both of you guys.
Yeah.
So
It's a super cool thing. I mean, I've been obsessed about this. I did a small video on it, late last year when I first started. And, I was always like, oh, I got to go back and revisit that. And then when Cologero did it on his channel, I was like, oh, man, this is the perfect opportunity to just have him back on and we can just talk about his video, get some people over there watching it. It's an hour-long video, but guys, it's really good. It's really, really good.
Yeah. Cologero, did you find out from Andrew Bisaggio how the plasma confinement works? Because that sounds like a really interesting that Dr. Sterling Colgate developed at the Colgate company.
He was talking a lot about just energy fields. He was saying it actually didn't take it took the amount of power of like a appliance, he was saying, but that they were using two booms and that they were creating an energy field between them. Right. And that, I'm not sure. I'm sure he goes into it because they're like hours and hours and hours of him talking. Yeah. But I'm not sure how they dialed in to go to a specific place or not. But he was saying that they could set it and go through it, and they would go through, I guess, like a wormhole or an Einstein-Rosen bridge and come out the other side in certain spots. But it all has to do with electricity, which fascinates me because that's what Tesla was all about, and that's, it kind of lends itself to all of this. But
the way I understood the two booms coming up, that was the energetic array. That's what Tesla called it.
Yes. Yeah.
And the reason they discovered it was a worker, after they turned it on, he forgot a tool and he walked through it and he disappeared, and his boss thought he disintegrated, but he really appeared in Africa before a tribe of natives. And they thought he was a god. He goes, no, I'm an engineer and I got to get back to my lab. I got to tell my boss what happened. And it took him like 6 weeks or 6 months to get back. And then when he walked in, his boss fainted because he thought he was dead.
Wow. Yeah, right. And he said that that's what they had told them in this training prop, and that was, the lineage of this technology that they had all learned when they were going to it, which is just incredible. I mean, like, imagine being that guy. What, like, in a split second, your whole life changes, and you're in a different continent. I'm sure he didn't know right away where he was. It could have been South America, could have been Africa, and he got them to bring him to the consulate. But it's just. Could this exist?
Yes, it could. You know why?
It seems like it could.
No, it could. You know why? Because when we flew in Kitty Hawk, when the Wright brothers flew at Kitty Hawk, from Kitty Hawk to the moon, it was 66 years. It's been 50 years since then.
That's right, dude. Exactly.
And technology keeps doubling every year. So
was that Moore's law or something like that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we do have colonies in space. It's logical. It's illogical that we wouldn't.
All right, Aaron, exactly. We've got another. Yeah. Oh, okay. They hung up. They hung 100%. up. No, you can stay, Aaron. They hung up.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, no problem. Oops, and I just accidentally opened up my podcast app. Okay, you guys. So yeah, if you want to call in, then I'm just going to drop that link again. I'm sorry, whoever was in the room. Just remember, you guys, when you get into the room, you're going to be waiting in the waiting room until I admit you. So don't think that you're not able to get into the call. Real quick, I need to say thank you to Russell Warner, not once but twice. He just said that photo's random file name translated to Tesla time machine. What?
Whoa.
What? Hold on.
And you said they just dropped a whole bunch of stuff, right? The FBI today?
Yeah, and then there's another post that says God wins.
Man.
Hold on, you guys. Hold on. We need to verify this.
Wow.
Russell, tell me again how you got to that it says Tesla time machine. Oh my goodness. Mind blown. All right. Well, Aaron, we do have one more person on the line now. So, all right, buddy, we're going to talk to you next time. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, man.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, we have the next caller on the line, Doug Newman. Doug, how are you? Need to get your microphone set on there. Mark, please tell me how you came to that conclusion. Mark, are you there? Mark, or Douglas? Douglas, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent, Doug. How are you?
Good. I'm sorry. When I cut away from the chat, I lost the topic.
Oh, well, we're talking about time travel, possibility of time travel, and the interesting things surrounding that, and our president.
Oh, yeah. How about CERN is your Stargate machine?
I wouldn't doubt it. Please tell us about it.
So you had the Philadelphia experiment took place prior to CERN even being founded. This technology is not new. The ancients understood frequency better than anyone. This is all about frequency. Tesla said it. I mean, all the greatest that ever talked about this topic always mentioned frequency.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it makes me think of Buddhist monks raising stones with the chanting.
Right, and that's what they said they made it from, the cylinder seals.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then you had Easter Island with the big giant statues that were being walked into place with circles of people chanting at them. This is all harmonic levitation.
Mm-hmm. Right. And in those statues, they dug down their full bodies. They're like full, they're not just heads. It's impossible. Some of these things in the ancient world are so fascinating. Like, how did you move that? And you're saying that the claim is that they did it with chants, with like Gregorian type chants and stuff.
Exactly. Did you ever see cymatics?
No, I have not.
Cymatics. That's
you gotta check out cymatics. It's the visual representation of sound.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Okay.
And when they do these chants, they do old Gregorian chants and monk chants. And some of these sacred geometric patterns show up in the sand and on the water plates. I mean, these guys, they knew something more about frequency than we even understand at this moment.
Oh, certainly.
Right.
There's hidden technology. There's technology that has been, I believe, we have purposely been shielded from. And like you're saying with the sand, with the different frequencies, like that's like a lot of musicians that say, 432 is more in tune with nature than 440, and it gets cooler patterns, much more intricate patterns. And that's same thing with the frequency. That was mentioned throughout almost all the different things that I was saying. They were saying that's with the chronovisor with Gemelli. I forget the other guy's name. Where how they were messing with frequencies, and they kind of accidentally came on like a voice from the past, and like, what is this now? It's just fascinating. But there's definitely something to sound.
Yeah, this is about frequency. Even the Freemasons hid a message in their symbol. It's about the rainbow. The secret of the rainbow is the vibrational frequency of each light. Each visible spectrum of light within that band.
Really?
Absolutely.
All right.
These guys hid all this stuff in plain sight from us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Doug, we've got another caller that needs to come into the line, buddy, so I appreciate your call, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
You got it, brother.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for your call. We'll talk to you soon. All right, coming up next is Alexandria, occasional Cortex, long-time listener, long-time caller. How are you, Alexandria?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, brother. So yes,
brother from another mother.
Yeah. What was your question or comment?
Great show.
Thank you.
Love the work y'all doing.
Thank you.
Digging. One thing, if you see something, say something.
Yes.
I saw something at the Bernie last weekend at Bernie's. And the other AOC
That's funny for
at a
many
rally.
reasons.
Yeah, not me AOC, but me AOC Anon and the other Congresswoman AOC. And they had definitely something that smelled a little Soros-y or Antifa-y. They're planning something for the month of January. But anyway.
Okay. Well, you know, I had heard speculation today that AOC might be Bernie's running mate, be announced as Bernie's running mate. I mean, I can see it for them, but I don't think it's going to make a difference.
Can I just say that when I was a kid, when I was born in Queens, she currently represents the neighborhood that I lived in as a kid, and it breaks my heart. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
So...
All right. If anybody has a good gematria calculator website that I can use, because everyone that I find, it just tells me numbers. It doesn't tell me phrases, because I want to look it up with the phrase. AOC, do you have a final point you want to make, bud? We've got 2 more people, or 3 more people now waiting to call in.
Yeah, one more point.
Please.
Gematrix.org.
Gematrix.org. Okay, I'll go there.
That's good to know.
Gematrix.org. All right, buddy. Thank you for your call.
Right, thanks for everything.
We'll
Bye.
talk to you next
Bye,
time.
Phil.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I just want to touch
Happy
really
holidays.
quick on what your one caller was saying about CERN.
Yes.
You know, there was a one-time traveler that had come in, John Titor, that a lot of people liked, and he was, he had shown cross sections and all this stuff, and the way he described it was 2 mini black holes that you were able to create 2 mini black holes and use them to traverse through time.
I had heard that myself. Yeah. All right. Next caller is Chris Hawkins. Chris, you are on the air with Cologero and with Red Pill. What's up, buddy? Go ahead and unmute. Hold on, I'll unmute you. For some reason, it won't allow me to unmute you. There you go. You're unmuted now.
All right, cool. Hey, I've been trying to call in for a while, man.
Sweet.
So,
I'm glad you made it.
yeah, finally. All right. So I got a crazy story.
Let's go for it.
I worked for AST, as I said a couple weeks ago. You think mirror and you turn that into the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're on our government computers. You got to do some training, and you get these news flashes.
Mm-hmm.
And this was right when Trump took over. Homeland Security had busted 42 sex trafficking rings worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
42.
Yeah.
How many people are in one ring? 10, 20, 100, 1,000?
Yeah. It could be any. Yeah, all of the above.
So 42 of them.
Yeah.
42.
Not
That's the meaning of life, right? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's also the floor. That's also the floor they said in Area 51, floor 42, that had all this technology.
Oh wow!
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Well, 42.
All right. So, we know what the mainstream media news is. It's corrupt. It's corrupt as hell.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that stuff being covered back then.
Of course not.
That's my point.
Yep.
That's my point. Out of all of that, as an investigative journalist, you bust one of those stories. One.
Yeah.
Your career is set.
Yes.
You're instantly famous. Your career is solidified.
Right.
You got all the book rights, all the movie rights. You're done. You're good. You're good. Not one of those stories made the mainstream media news. So,
it's highly suspect that none of them will touch it. And there's so many stories. I've made so many videos like on the different stories, and you start looking, it's like, well, there's way too many to even put in here. It's an insane amount of arrests have happened, and like you're saying, they won't touch them. That is, to me, screams it's highly questionable.
Oh, it reeks of corruption. I mean, either
Absolutely.
there are people obviously who are involved in it in some way, or perhaps they don't want to touch it because maybe they're involved in a tangential way, some other way. I mean, there's so many different options here, but I tend to think that many people who are the gatekeepers for this information are not wanting to get to that type of subject matter because it's too heavy. They're a part of it.
Oh yeah, and I think these reporters get the memo. They go, hey, stay away, man. You know.
Yep, steer clear.
I think there's another deeper point on that.
Please.
Is where we just saw where another one of what's his face's accusers.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. What are the chances that he makes a video called "Kill Them with Kindness" and then the next day this guy ends up dead?
And that's like the fourth one or something.
Yes.
It's not, you know.
I think it's third, but it's close enough, you know.
Third one. There you go. Only all right. You know,
yeah.
Like 3 people.
I don't want to mince words, but you know, 3 deaths.
Give them enough rope and they'll hang themselves.
Absolutely. Right. Chris, did you have a final point you want to make, buddy? We got 6 people waiting.
I got a joke.
Okay, go for it.
So while I'm working with Homeland Security in the airport, wearing my blue uniform with the shiny badge.
Yep.
I'm in Denver International in the 2017 football season, and Ice Cube's coming through.
Right on.
What is he wearing? His white Raiders gear with all his bling and everything, looking all sharp.
Right.
Like, what am I gonna say to Ice Cube, man? That's cool. You're rich and famous. That's awesome. I'm glad you dig that. I don't want your autograph. I wanna do something else. So I wait for him to get close. I stop the belt. I walk up to him, and I walk up to him with my body language off, my facial expressions off, and I say, "Sir, we don't allow Raiders fans in this airport."
Did he like it?
His face drops. His jaw hits the floor. His eyes are this big.
They never get stuff like that. You know, everyone's usually like, can I get an autograph? You know, he probably loved it.
Exactly. So I'm just like, okay. And so I let him sit there in that moment just for a second. And I say, I'm just kidding, Ice Cube, man. You have a great day.
Like,
that's hilarious.
Friday, you ain't got nothing to do with that.
He smiled so big, he covered up his face and walked away.
Oh, that's great.
Like,
That's great, Chris.
That's awesome.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for your call. I'm glad you finally got through, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, peace. Coming up next is Floyd Standifer IV. Floyd, how are you, sir? Floyd, I got no mic on you. I think you have to go into your settings and make sure you set your mic on the app. I still got nothing.
How about this?
Yes, I got you now.
All right, cool. Hey,
Awesome.
Galadriel.
What's up, Hammer? What's going on?
Hey, I got beers when I see you in person, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about that real quick. I've been seeing. Oh yeah, you can probably see what I got on my hat.
Yes, very cool.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Love it.
Oh yeah, I've been watching you guys for a good long time.
That's cool.
So
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Both of you. So one of the biggest things is Tesla's work. I've been looking at that for a good little while, and I got to admit, didn't think about the time travel side of it too much, but I have been seeing how he's been doing his work with the transmitted electricity, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the free energy stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, the free energy. That's right. But I've been wondering, especially for Galadriel, with your works, have you been able to tie any of that together yet?
You know, I find that I wonder sometimes, you know, when our favorite Anon mentions things like, it's going to change things, going to change the world and stuff like that. I wonder if one of the things he means is free energy. You know, I've read different things where people speculate that a lot of these monoliths are for energy. You know, you find them in everywhere. Obviously, you got the Washington Monument, and you got from Egypt, all these things. And obviously, you know, there's occult ties to them too. But there are people who speculate that that they're already broadcasting free energy, and why not? You know, like Rep Hill was saying, these are things that he was working on, you know, 60, 70, 80 years ago, you know, and working on them way more than that. You're telling me they haven't perfected that? They can send anything through the air. Look at what we're doing right now. You know, when we were growing up in the 90s, this was literally sci-fi. And right now, the three of us are connected, all just having a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, this was Star Wars.
That is true. That's the reason why I keep watching all your videos and say every single time I get the chance to meet you, I got the beers. But now, if you really think about it.
Oh, all right, man. Yeah, I know.
Think about it. If you look at everything and tie it all together, it all works. It all just seems to spit out work.
Yeah,
it really does.
It's amazing, all the things that just link up once you start looking to, the pictures, sometimes the videos, especially videos I make, they almost write themselves once I start looking through. It's like, all right, and a lot of times I'll think, what's the through line? And they all these things link together, man. It's incredible. So much of this stuff's been right in our face for so long,
All right. Well, Floyd, thanks for your call, buddy. We got 4 more people waiting behind you, so call in next week. We'll talk. All right, you too. Take it easy. Thanks for your call. Coming up next is Pontifexus. Pontifexus, are you there?
Oh, hey guys.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm a huge fan. Oh, sorry.
Well, glad you're here. What was your question or comment?
Yeah, Cologero, I just wanted to say real quick, thank you for listening to my music, man. I had I linked to that song Perspectives.
Yes, that was cool, man. I'm a musician, so I love that sort of stuff. I've left many a comment like that in my day. So
yeah,
I love checking out stuff like that.
Sweet, yeah, because it was on that Akun's founder. I can't remember his name right now.
Jim Watkins.
It was on
Watkins.
Yeah, Jim Watkins live stream. So really,
that's
really
cool.
Grateful for that.
Yeah, you should you should drop a link in the chat when you're done here. Definitely,
Well, unfortunately, you won't be able to put a full link, so you'll have to separate the domain from the web address. It's to stop the porn bots from spam. They will spam the chat if I don't fix that.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay,
Absolutely,
don't post it here.
Well, just separate the domain from the extension right there.
Okay, that makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah, my main thing was I don't know if you guys had seen those DIA D-class documents. They're maybe a couple years old, but they're from 2008 and 2009, I believe. But I had seen them on Dr. Michael Sala's website. There were links to them, but I think they came through Corey Good.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, tell us about them, Cologero, because I don't know that I'm necessarily familiar with them specifically.
No, I've leafed through them. It's a report they looked into to look at traversable wormholes.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I am familiar with that. Yeah, but tell the audience.
Defense Intelligence Agency, Stargates. They kind of hedge your bets. They don't necessarily say that they exist or they don't exist, but it's really interesting that it's undeniable proof that they're working on this stuff.
Oh, of course.
They're doing, experiments with this stuff, and the military is notoriously 50 years ahead of everything. Look where we are now.
If not farther ahead.
Probably way farther.
Yeah.
Exactly. Some of the stuff we're talking about, right now, look at what we're talking about today. We're talking about things in the 1800s and the mid 1900s, now. So,
well, if you go back that far, and if you were to bring somebody from 1865 to today, 2020, and show them the technology we have now, they would probably look at it and think that it's magic, some type of sorcery. They, we're talking on little bricks that we keep in our pockets, what is this sorcery here,
Oh, 100%. There's a thing in North Korea, a phenomenon where over the years where people would defect, they'd wind up going back.
Oh, because they get too scared.
There's a name for it, but yeah, they would just be so overwhelmed by this digital world that we live in that they would have to go back to North Korea.
That's
just
right.
Saying a lot, if you're willingly going back there. But yeah, that's for sure, dude.
Pontifexus, did you have a final comment you wanted to make?
Yeah, my well, that's kind of like Hugh says that if 70% of the truth's going to be disclosed, they would put everyone in a hospital or whatever.
Yeah,
if they were to know all of it. But I just want to say a couple things. I got some glasses. They have 000101.
Those are rad, dude. Those are great.
Binary code there.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Awesome. $2 for engraving, and then last thing was my website's Jacoby Lau with JAKOBILAU.com, and that perspective song is it was weird because I'd written it maybe 3 years before all this started. I was a Bernie supporter and stuff. So
Wow.
a lot of it's about kind of waking up to reality and that we're all being lied to. And I had actually emailed you, Red Pill, a long time ago.
Oh, you did?
A long-winded email, but I don't know. I'll send you an email again after
Dude,
this. But
yeah, send me another one. I've honestly
It's hard.
got
so
over
many emails come in. You know.
I've got over 500 unread emails in my inbox right now.
Same,
I'm just overwhelmed. I mean, and I don't want anybody to stop writing me because it takes me a long time, and sometimes I forget to write people back. So please do send me another email, and I will be checking everything tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I totally
problem.
understand. And I plan on writing some music for the movement. I keep hearing around the, I've just got a whole 20 songs plus four of them are actually recorded. But that's all I gotta say, guys. I really appreciate the time.
Hey, thanks for your call, bud. We appreciate it.
Very cool.
Yeah, later.
Yep, we'll talk to you soon.
Later, brother.
Bye-bye. All right, coming up next is Martin Gordon. And Martin is gone. He hung up right as I was letting him in. So we have another caller who is here. You don't have a name, but you have a phone number. You're on the air.
My name is Phil.
Phil, how are you tonight?
Fine. I've got two pieces of interesting information. One, I used to do a lot. I'm here in Kansas City. Used to do a lot of research at the Truman Library.
Oh.
And an incident happened around 95 and 96. Truman and Eisenhower had two vaults where they kept their information. One vault was for the public use. The other vault was for classified material. Well, in 1995 and 1996, there was an incident with a worker. The feds came in and raided both vaults, taking everything out of the vaults.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And you could look that up in the Kansas City Star, because there was an article in the Kansas City Star about it. It had something to do with one of the employees was copying stuff out of the top secret vault. They found out about it, and they came in and confiscated everything out of the vault.
So Kansas City presidential vault.
Yeah, I'm typing it to myself right now.
It happened in the Truman Library.
Truman Library.
They had two vaults. One was for the public information, and the other was classified information of stuff of Truman, possibly the UFO stuff and other projects that he did that were classified. Eisenhower had the same type of two vaults also, and it has been verified that there was two vaults, by the way.
Wow. Well, that's very interesting. Cool. I appreciate that, Phil.
You can look that up. The other was when I was a kid, I lived in New Mexico in the 70s, and one of my best friends' father was a doctor and supposedly worked, Roswell. A lot of people don't realize how the military got there so fast with the craft site. That whole area was a military base for experimental testing. And he showed me the map that actually proved that it was a test site for some test aircraft or whatever.
Yes, it was. I had heard that. All right, Phil. Well, thank you for your call. I do appreciate it. We got a couple people behind you, so we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it. Okay, coming up next, we've got Rosemary. And there she is. Rosemary, you're on the line with Cologero and Red Pill. I think you might need to set your mic up. Howie, don't go anywhere. You're coming up next. And you guys, I have put the information for you to call in the description of this video. So if you don't catch it in the chat when it goes by, then go ahead and go to the description of the video. You can get it there. There is a phone number to call if you don't have a computer or a cell phone. Okay, and it looks like we did lose Rosemary, but we've got Howie on the line. Howie, you're on the air. Go ahead and set your mic on. And I'm very interested to hear what this is. Great calls tonight, you guys. I'm really excited about this. Chris Hawkins says RPN guests are the best. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Also, Dr. of K-Space says, I love the topics being discussed. As a physicist, I have an intimate understanding of the different frequencies and how, when applied properly, can yield very interesting results. Well, Dr. of K-Space, why don't you call in? I would love to talk to you about this
that
stuff.
Sounds fascinating.
That is fascinating. And I just want to say I was able to verify Russell's information about the the title of that image. It does come up as Tesla Time Machine if you put it in the Gematrix
Really?
calculator. Yeah. Now, and while we're waiting for Howie to get his mic on, we're going to go back over to the post, because we did have a new post. It says it's a repost of 3591 from November 13th. And then there's a tweet from POTUS, and it says they are fighting for their lives. Good people in place. Let's go ahead and take a look. President Trump saying, wow, crazy Nancy, what's going on? This is big stuff. And it is a video from Owen. Owen exposes those Democrats and their Ukraine ties, Joe and Hunter and Nancy and Paul. Seems like a family affair.
They're great.
What's going on here? Pay attention to 113 in this video, as it has been removed from social media. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get to 113. Oh, this video is not available. Okay, well, let's go ahead.
Of course.
While the official reason given for his visit was to discuss a youth soccer partnership program with the
so many
Ukrainian
things
government,
I'll find.
clips of that
I'll
trip
be
are
able
now
to find
reportedly
like an
being
article
removed from
about it.
online.
And then I'll go to
One
click
of
the
those
video.
clips was
Oh,
saved by
this
the
video-
American Mirror
video's
on
been
Twitter
removed, you
with
know?
the caption, "What's
But
really
I
going
love the
on
specific.
here?"
Anyone
Do you
out
run
there
a
who likes
you have a
researching,
corporate governance business and you're
look
here
at
in Ukraine.
specific dates. If you know it's somewhere in the 90s, specifically only search 1989 to 1999. It would be incredible what you can find. You know, it helps you cut through a lot of the garbage, you know?
Yeah. Well, Howie, I don't know if you're going to get your mic working, buddy, or if you're even still there, but we've got Martin Gordon on the line now. Martin, I love the macrame wall hanging behind you. I've still got a couple from my parents hanging on my walls as well. Just waiting on your mic, Martin. Not a problem. Hey, there you go.
Hear me?
There we go.
I can hear you, my friend. How are you?
I finally did it. Oh, fellas, first of all, I want to say to my man, where we go when we go all, your second American Revolution video is so cool. I shared it with a lot of people already. It's really amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, dude, it's such a refreshing, like, you got a really cool insight and an angle on things that you don't, it's just quite unique. Both of you guys. I mean,
Awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
about 3-4 channels that I keep up with all the Q stuff, and just I don't watch movies or TV or anything like that anymore. This is vastly more interesting than
Absolutely.
The best movie ever.
I'm right there with you, dude.
So I just wanted to say I called in basically. Sorry, I hung up earlier. I got
no problem.
Hang of it, but yeah, I just wanted to just say I really appreciate what's going on, and I have this creeping weird feeling that there's a lot more of us than what we think there are.
Oh yeah.
I'm Canadian and I live in the UK, and I'm like crazy about you know, I'll admit it, man. I love Trump. I'm just crazy about that, the whole thing that's going on, and
he's such a likable guy. Like, he's funny. He's the man. He's cool as crap.
Not love him.
Yeah, exactly. It's concerning, to be honest.
It's just crazy, and I just think there's two types of people with no sense of humor that just don't get him, and people that I guess they just grew up trusting. Like, it's hard to find out that all your heroes are zeros.
Oh yeah.
And the people you're told to hate are actually the people that are trying to help you out the most, and it's just a really weird time in human society where we're just at this weird juncture where it's like I don't know. I feel like you guys are doing what a lot of us should be doing, is sharing this information. I do it as much as I can, like, individually, but
That's
this idea
just as important, man. You know, everyone, you know, every car has many different parts that all work together. You know, not everyone has to have a YouTube channel or something. You know, that's just as important. Talking to people in person, I think, is hugely underrated.
Yeah, I completely agree, dude. The day-to-day on the ground, working with people out in the real world, you know, just if you touch a single person on a daily basis, it's just as important as being able to, you know, reach an audience of thousands like we're doing tonight, because that one person might be the tipping point, you know? I mean, they're going to go in turn and speak with other people, you know? And, you know, your situation in Canada, it's because you are still under the British monarchy, I feel like there has.
Hey, I'm Canadian living in the UK, so I am in.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I mean, you know, there's a different sensibility among the people, you know? I mean, you're still under that soft tyranny of the British crown, you know? And yeah. And so, you know, I mean, it's like we broke free of that so long ago. And ever since then, it's like we've had this kind of upstart, you know, nature to us. But even still, it's taken us this long, you know, a couple hundred years to get to the point where we've had the cojones to do it again, you know?
Yeah.
And even then, it's a different situation than it was back then. But, you know, I mean, like, I would say that, you know, since you've got the unique perspective of being a Canadian in the UK, you know, and waking up and understanding all this stuff, you're in a very, very important position.
Absolutely.
It's a curious place because I'll tell you, obviously I've been to the States many times. I grew up in Canada. I've been here for 20 plus years. And Canada is one of the most brainwashed countries, and God, you know, bless Canadians. I'm just saying the media there is to call it liberal, it is like being nice. It's just total brainwashing. It's programming it's worse than probably, I would say the UK is number 3 in the brainwashing states, but Canada's up there like 1 or 2 because the media hits people so hard. And do you know this idea of like people say they've captured your imagination? This show, they've literally captured people's imaginations to the point where they can't think outside of the box. It's like they just literally they peek outside of the box and like, oh shit, nope.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's heartbreaking. Canadians are they're really cool people, man. It's a great place too. You know, that's heartbreaking. But it's, you know, they're good at what they do.
Bro, there's
you know?
cool people everywhere. Just mark my word.
Just so chill, man. Everyone always seems so chill from Canada. You know what I mean? I love it.
It's true. Martin, do you have a final thought you want to leave the audience? We've got 5 more people waiting behind you, bud.
Sorry, I don't want to take up any more of your time, guys. I just want to say, in relation to what you said, Red Pill, I think we're past the tipping point.
Oh, yeah.
I think what right now just proves it. And that little spot on the Waters World the other day where the guy said, about 10% of Americans think that Q is a good idea. Man, if that's even close to true, it's game over.
It is game over.
Enjoy
You're
the
right.
show, fella.
All right. Hey, man, thanks for calling in,
Critical
Martin.
mass, baby.
We'll talk to you next time, buddy. Bye-bye. All right. Coming in next, we have, let's see, Kenneth. What's the frequency? Kenneth, are you there? Kenneth, you just got to turn your mic on, buddy, and you're on the air with Where We Go One, We Go All, and Red Pill 78. Someone had asked me to look up Ingersoll Lockwood in the Gematriator because I said something about it earlier, and Jesuit Pope Francis sticks out right away. Virtual hologram image. I hate everyone. There's a lot of weird ones. Lincoln is all water. That's interesting.
You want to know something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Every time with the gematria, I was always like, where are they getting these phrases from? Everyone's always like, and this adds to 83, and that means like lock your door. And I'm like, what? How is that possible?
Yeah,
but, wow, I didn't know that there was a website that actually gave you stuff.
Yeah, I always wondered that myself, and that's why I didn't know where to go. You know, I want to be totally frank with everybody. I'm not like a gematria person. I know that a lot of people are. I find there are some interesting things that come along with it when you start looking at it. But Kenneth, I don't have video and I don't have sound, buddy. So while you're getting that in, I'm just going to bring in our next caller, and you can take your time getting that together. So on the phone is the phone number ending 93933. Are you there, caller? You're on the air with Where We Go One, We Go All in Red Pill 78.
Yes, sir. I am here.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. What's your name?
My name is Mark.
Mark, you're on the air, buddy. What can we do for you? What's your question or comment?
My comment is actually about censorship.
Okay.
in our community, actually.
Go ahead.
Weird, interesting times. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely not on this channel, but on several other channels of our community. I've run into censorship from our own side.
Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of what is it that that you're trying to say that's being censored?
If you have, sometimes it's just simple questions like, why is this happening? And sometimes these channels will just shut you down. You're not allowed to ask any questions after that. You're just labeled a troll or whatever.
Well,
you know, understand. You get kind of peppered with it after a while. It's like, first of all, who has time to answer every one of those questions? Dude, like, so I know for me, like some of the stuff, like there's a couple different things like, oh, Trump is this and he's controlled, where just like, you know what, dude, if you're watching my channel and you still feel that, then I don't know what to tell you. But I don't know. I'm probably guilty of that a little more than I should be, but it's
Mark,
frustrating sometimes.
What I'll say
like
is,
I said, I didn't mean, and I have not run across that from Red Pill or where we go one off.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes another chat, someone will, and then as a community, I think we need to open up and.
Well, I do have a theory about
everyone's question. Questions are fine.
Not
everyone's a troll type deal.
Right. So here's my take on it. Like Cologero said, you know, we tend to get bombarded with questions, and it is difficult. You know, we're trying to keep up, and I think that we've been raised in this environment where, you know, a lot of people are trolls, and you're constantly on social media. We basically live and work on social media, and so there is, you know, all of this information and these questions and you know, comments and commentary, people telling us how to do our jobs, or, you know, telling us what we should be believing. And I think that sometimes it's easy for people to just default to thinking that, you know, someone is a troll. And, you know, and I think that, you know, it's unfortunate, but I wouldn't necessarily take it, you know, take it to heart. And just remember that everybody, all of us here, you know, we're all human. We all make mistakes. And I think that some of us, you know, can be a little bit quick to get emotional about things. You know, and it happens, you know, from people making commentary and making content, and people just watching, you know. So I think that one of the things that I always like to remember is that we've been raised in this environment where we're so used to being at each other's throats. And and sometimes we don't see when somebody has, you know, genuine, maybe constructive criticism, or maybe they really don't know what it is, you know, that you're talking about, and they want you to you know, clarify it. So, you know, I'm glad that you've never had the experience of that here on this channel, and I always try to keep that frame of mind in place when I see things that I think, you know, is this person a troll, or are they just, you know, they're just asking a question? So I do what I can, and I'm glad that that we haven't done that to you here.
That's awesome, sir. I just wanted to tell everyone, keep an open mind to everything.
All right.
And everyone.
Definitely. That's true.
Thank you, guys.
Mark, thanks for your call, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Bye-bye. Okay, so coming up next is another caller with the phone number ending 4741. Caller, are you there?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going, Red?
Good. What's your name?
Oh, this is Haterproof, man.
Haterproof.
Only once, actually. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm
There's
good.
a little bit of lag on my laptop, so my phone was quicker, actually, to get to you. So you might have that little bit of issue with startled callers that call in. They're kind of going to be like, what? You know, anyway. So I just wanted to just touch base with you real quick, because you guys were talking about the whole time thing, and, you know, maybe some ramifications as to future development possibly in propulsion and energy and things like that. And so that's kind of where I got my start too, Red. And so I'm kind of wondering if there's maybe some kind of quantified Q level type thing going on with a disseminative process using AI across the internet, all roads lead to DARPA. Rather that, that would kind of show that network cascading, right? Or maybe that alternate hypnosis that kind of maybe brought us all together that isn't necessarily a coincidence, but a coincidence, let's say, for instance, because, when it comes to telling the truth, I think maybe the rule of law in the U.S. Constitution, the fundamental freedoms of certain unalienable rights for us as individuals, like the right to not be enslaved, say, for instance.
Sure.
Those fundamental principles in our U.S. Constitution, I think maybe the AI would have drawn to as one of the best processes for us under the rule of law to follow some type of rules anyway. And I think that, the people that try to degrade that rule of law and the U.S. Constitution, with what may be an evil AI, and there might be a good one, let's say, and maybe the good one prevails in the end. And maybe, from a nonlinear observational standpoint, let's say, Red, we really can change the future from just observing even.
It's so absolutely.
Yeah, because there may be a program maybe that the government even wrote that utilizes all of us in some network node or hive node theory.
Yeah,
that's brought us all together because of research that we've done, whether it's with school or just being involved in something that had to do with us being arrested falsely and brought to jail for our political opinion, let's say, for instance, and like me back in 2015,
right,
when Trump came down the escalator. Yeah, anyway, so when I was trying to advocate for school securities, because I just knew simple things that were shown to increase our chances or probability, rather to not be victimized from what stems from all the processes that have come for 1,000 years, let's say, for instance, and what their cultic processes, symbolization, and their methodologies, Hegelian dialectic and cultural Marxism, Maoism, Stalinism, communism, socialism, National Socialism, all the different things that they've used to control us and to make us pay taxes and keep us down and make us not realize that self-governance or, just telling the truth is the only thing that, societally will bring the love that humanity needs to learn how to love one another again, instead of trying to take advantage of.
Yeah.
Hater proof. I think that the great thing is that that's really what this Great Awakening is about at its heart. It's about getting back to truth and those certain inalienable rights that we hold within ourselves, and in society. So
that beats the alternative, Red. I mean, nuclear war is not a good thing, and we're all human beings. And like Reagan said, or for instance, or like Haterproof said, if aliens showed up tomorrow, Red, and they came down here to harvest all of us, minus our socioeconomic means, our religious ideologies, our sexual preferences, our economic classes, anything that separates us, even the color of our underwear, at that point, we're all humans being eaten. So none of those methodologies will matter. So why do they now?
Because they definitely push them on us. That's divide and conquer, and now that the looking glass has been talked about, I'm sure there are going to be people, trying to divide people over that. There's people,
and
they
so
just try to divide everything.
Connected? Yeah, are some of us connected to the ether then?
Yeah, I clearance is an energy clearance. I don't know.
We are antennas.
Yeah,
we are antennas, right? So
absolutely. All right. Well, Haterproof, listen, buddy, we got a couple people behind you, so I want to thank you for calling in.
You got my email, and I don't want to be a hog. Red, it was really good talking with you. Where we go one, we go all, as usual, man.
It's always a pleasure. Bud. We'll talk to you soon.
And my Supreme Court case is being heard with oral argument for half of it disorderly, which stems from a felony and 4 charges on the 14th. So make sure that you guys pay attention to that. It's on the 14th.
Okay, definitely.
Good luck, bud. Good luck, man.
Yep, thank you.
Yep, talk to you soon.
Anyway,
bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
All right, coming up next, thank you for the call, Haterproof. Coming up next is Ian Lowry. We've got 3 callers left, and we've got 8 minutes to go. Ian, are you there? I see your dogs.
Hey, are you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Ian. Your phone's upside down.
I don't see anyone else standing here.
Can you see me?
Your phone's upside down, bro. I think you might have the lock on.
It's kind of
well,
cool,
my
actually.
phone's busted. All right.
Okay, no problem. What's your question or comment, Ian? We're glad to have you here.
Well, I wanted to talk about Great Awakening Reddit.
Okay.
And how it got shut off.
Yep.
And can you see my face?
Well, I could a second ago, but I can't now.
All right, am I upside down?
Yep, you're upside down. Yep.
All right, let me mute my TV real quick. I love what you guys are doing. Red Pill, I got onto you from Space Shot.
Sweet, thank you.
Same here.
Shut my computer off. Where we go one, we go all. Your fucking videos are incredible. Sorry for my cursing, but
no problem.
I believe that I was the one that got the Great Awakening shut down because I tied some really deep digs from Barack Obama, Sohail Siddiqui. Sohail Siddiqui is part of Getty Images, and I think that do you guys know what irregardless, when it all ties into Theranos and Leon Panetta's daughter-in-law.
Okay.
I'll be able to send you this all.
Yeah, email it to me
via email.
Please do. Please do.
But there's these blood deposits. These people who are doing blood research.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, definitely are. Yeah.
It's absolutely out of control. And I posted a long thread that tied Barack Obama to Siddiqui, to John Podesta, to an article that he wrote that had some girl talking about how she traveled the world and did all this crazy shit as a waitress, which to me seems nuts. But
well, yeah, Ian, get over to me, buddy. We've only got 5 minutes left, and we've got 4 more people behind you.
All right.
Okay, thanks for your call. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Okay, coming up next is caller. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi.
Hi. Can we get your name?
Yeah. Is this Red Pill?
Yep.
78?
Yeah, you're on the air with Red Pill 78 and Cologero of Where We Go One, We Go All.
Oh, cool. Hi, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Sorry about this. My TV is lagging, so I didn't realize you had me on.
Yes, yeah, there is a lag. Yeah, so definitely hit the mute on the TV and you'll hear us in real time.
Okay, yep, now I'm with you. Okay, well, just not to take a lot of your time, I was thinking about who Q is, and I know everybody has theories on it. What about Melania Trump?
Hey,
So brilliant.
I've thought that
She's
myself.
brilliant.
Yeah.
She is absolutely brilliant. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, because sometimes they do things in sync, and you think, like, whoever Q is, they have to be sitting right next to him. And who would be better than his beautiful wife? You know,
Who would be better?
So
And they
get credit to.
100%. And you could tell that they genuinely love each other. So she is totally at least in on it, you know? And she's she'll be doing stuff where she'll, you know.
Well, you got the dress, you know, you had the white hat under the pyramid.
Yes.
You know, at the very least, I do think that Melania is read in and that she knows about it.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
Right. It would be so awesome to find out she's the one when they all discredit her and act like she's just a dumb woman. And, that would make my year.
I think so. I think so too. All right. Well, listen, thank you for your call. We've got one more caller and 3 minutes left. All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you for calling. Coming up next is Carla. Carla, you're on the air with the Red Pill 78 and Where We Go One, We Go All. Are you there? Carla?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Carla, excellent. What was your question or comment?
All right. I'd like to know if you can discuss why Trump signed that terrible bill, the latest bill, with all the resettling illegal aliens and researching guns, stuff like that.
I actually don't know enough to even talk about it coherently right now. Cologero, can you speak on this? It's something that I'll go ahead and research but I'm not aware of it.
I haven't looked too into it yet either. But what is it? Just researching gun crime or actual guns?
The research that the left wanted to do. I'm not sure of the details either.
I don't know. Some of these things I think are harmless. I feel like he's throwing them a bone. I mean, not saying that this is, I haven't looked into it yet, but it's certainly, to be watched what's going on. But I personally trust the guy, and a lot of the things that people have told me to look into, everyone's like, look into the Noahide laws. I look into the Noahide laws. It's 7 of the 10 commandments, and he never even signed it. The thing they talk about, don't mention them anywhere. So some of the things that I think the deep state gets on these things, and they try to fracture communities with some of this information and get people. So maybe it's not that bad, but it would certainly be an interesting to look into for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your call, Carla.
Bye-bye.
Yep, bye-bye. All right, you guys, Baby Yoda was on the line for a second, and then he hung up. Baby Yoda, I'm making a plea for you to call back in every time. Oh, hang on. Is that Baby Yoda? I don't know, but we're going to bring in this caller. Caller, you're on the air with Red Pill 78 and Cologero from Where We Go, One We Go All. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Is this Baby Yoda?
No, this is Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. Well, thanks for your call.
Should have just pretended to be Baby Yoda.
I wouldn't have known the difference, but it's fine. I'm glad you're here, Kevin. What's your question or comment?
Well, I'm using my wife's phone. So anyways, no, I've got an interesting question. Have you guys... I've seen it twice now. Nancy Pelosi's tie to this energy company that Biden's son is in. And
yes.
Also, okay, so is that real or not?
Well, it's her son, Paul Pelosi, who is tied to an energy company. And I believe that there's some lobbying money going back and forth. I think the connection between all of the children and is the fact that they're all connected in one way or another to energy companies. So, obviously Chris Hines, Hunter Biden, and there's another one. They're all connected to.
There was a third one.
Yeah.
John Kerry's kid as well.
Well, that's Chris Hines, but there's another kid.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. But then also Paul.
And there's a Republican senator or something too as well. Or one of the
And then Paul Pelosi, he's connected to a different energy company, if I'm not mistaken. Burisma is the company in Ukraine, but I'm pretty certain that he's connected to a different company, and he's been called out previously in the posts before.
But is it sort of a money laundering system falling down through all of it?
Oh, clearly, yes. Well, what happens is that the politicians will say, you hire, my child, in exchange for some type of favorable decisions. And it's a quid pro quo relationship. That money is then funneled to them in the form of salaries. When they don't actually do anything, they're just named on paper, and then $50 million or more, that's in the case of Hunter Biden, gets funneled into their pockets and then goes into the Biden family. Now, how much of that money went directly to Hunter and how much went, to Joe? Was that a 50-50 split between Joe and his son? We don't know.
It gets spread around a lot.
So you and Where You Go One All, you guys both agree that probably Pelosi and all of this is just sort of they're freaking out, and this is their blast to try to cover it
Absolutely.
Last run chance,
yes.
My God, we gotta nail him now and distract the public from finding out this information, because
she can't even talk straight half the time. She's bugging out.
And there's absolutely there's no chance of. There's no chance of him being fully impeached. They've impeached him in the House, but he will never be convicted in the Senate. So it was a completely fruitless effort for them to do it. So now they have impeached him in the House. They can talk about it openly. They drum up all of this information in the mainstream media, gets all kinds of coverage. It eats up anything having to do with corruption on their side.
Red pill. I totally agree. It's a total distraction.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep, distraction, projection.
Look this way. don't look this way,
Yep.
and then accuse him of everything that they are doing themselves. Absolutely. I agree 100%. I just
They
wanted
gotta
to
keep
really...
the hate going for 2020, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And by the way, where we go one, where we go all, I love your stuff. Totally.
Thanks, dude.
You've blown my mind away and my father's mind away. Really excellent videos. And Red Pill just started catching on to your stuff. I got a guy that follows Neon Revolt in a group of mine. It's not a huge group of us, but he has been just bombing us with stuff. Radiant Night. He posts a lot on there. That's the guy.
Is this on Gab?
Or
on Twitter?
Probably Gab, a lot of it.
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah, no Twitter. We don't touch that.
Okay.
We use actually Telegram to do our own group messaging.
Yeah.
So we got our own group of people, and then that's where we post what we send back and forth, and then each of us searches out on different nodes and then comes back with more information.
Oh, cool.
You guys have been phenomenal with, this is the funny thing. This is what I think that Democrats don't realize, or I should say, all of it. They don't realize how many sidetrack places that things are being posted, and
everywhere.
The normal conservative isn't going to go in public and put a poll out. They're not going to say nothing publicly. I think there's going to be a massive wave this next time because people are grouping up in small groups and very silently learning.
Mm-hmm.
So things are going to change massively this next time.
Well, what's incredible is how quickly that mirrors what Cologero found in those books about young Barron Trump. The smaller groups coming together with the information.
Yeah, and all of a sudden a big circle, and the circle's complete. I mean, I don't hate liberals. I want to save them.
Yes.
I feel like they're victims, dude. They're out there, getting fed a book of crap.
You're talking to one. I was a liberal most of my life.
Yeah.
Growing up, we voted for the lesser evil. One guy wanted to take away our guns. We're hunters up here where I live, and that's what we do. And then the next guy wants to, give you everything and free healthcare.
Exactly.
Oh, wow, we're going to go for that. But then the next time you're like, wow, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
And nothing's free
the
either.
biggest nuclear event just happened, and that crap's raining down on us. And they're not talking about it, but it's in our milk,
Yeah.
And it's like, what? And we got another country that's supposed to be our enemy claiming that, hey, we're going to go in there, we're going to clean it up for you. No, don't you dare touch it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, listen, caller. We've got one more caller left, and we're already over time.
Keep going, guys.
All right, thank you for your call.
I love it.
Right on,
thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
You're
Bye-bye.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
All right, we've got one more caller left, guys, and then we're done for the evening. Chuck Wilson is on the line. Chuck, are you there? Chuck, are you there? Chuck, we've got no mic from you. This is our last call of the evening. Chuck, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Chuck. What was your question or comment?
Okay, real quick. Cologero, your research is just phenomenal, and I was wondering if you could give us a little bit of insight into your process, because you just blew me away when you showed the Charlie Chaplin video of the people looks like they were talking on a cell phone.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm going to tell you, the biggest part of my process is patience. Everyone a lot of time, I wish you posted every day. I wish you posted a couple times a week. The videos wouldn't even resemble what they do. Well, first of all, I'm doing everything. I'm doing all the graphics, I'm doing all the research, but patience and organization. I'll make folders. I'll make one main folder for what I'm looking for, and then I'll make subfolders in that folder of different things to line them up. And once I have all the information that I have, I try to think, what's the through line? What matches to what? And that usually tells me the story. Like I said earlier, look for specific dates. There's a feature on the G, which I don't love, the browser, but it is a pretty efficient browser, where if you notice happen, somewhere in the mid-90s, type up the thing. Don't just type in the title you're looking for. Type it up and then put specific search 1992 to 1996, and it'll cut out all of the, right now they're peppering with a million articles of garbage pretty much since 2015. And that's another thing. I try to, like there's current things I'll talk about are current, but when I'm looking for past things, I try to stay everything before 2015. I think that's when they really realized what was going on and started hardcore, spamming it with disinformation.
Yeah, very true.
Right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, gentlemen.
Well, Chuck, thank you for your call, but I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, that is the last call of the evening. I just want to give a couple reminders. I just threw Where We Go One, We Go All YouTube channel link in the chat box. It's also right now in the description of this video. Please do not call in anymore, you guys, not for tonight. I just want to say that tomorrow, I want to remind everybody, I do have Joanna Chestnut and Craig Mason on. My daughter is going to be performing. She's a very talented singer, so I'm not going to be here in the chat. I will be watching her perform, guys. So I just wanted to let you know that will be there, but there will be a chat, so you guys can go ahead and chat with each other. And then I need to say thank you to Chris Hawkins. He said, Melania is the best first lady ever and the best family ever. Exceptional times we live in. Somebody says Baby Yoda was going to call in. Baby Yoda, if you call in, I will take your call. Jesse Causey says, Nancy is an alcoholic. Most of them are. They distract with impeachment while the Patriot Act was extended. That's right. Yeah, alcoholism does terrible things to your brain. Swiss cheese.
You see that clip she keeps wearing? She looks like she's on the Starship Enterprise. Watch, she wore a red shirt the other day. I was like, oh, that's a bad omen.
I love it. Yeah, red shirt club. You don't want to be that. And then Son of a Green Card says, what size flannel shirts do you wear? Maybe, hey, if you want to, but it's I'm a large. Flannels are my thing. It's like my uniform. I wear them every day. So, I'm in a cold environment. Thank you very much. Baby Yoda, are you going to call in, buddy? Well, while we're waiting to see if Baby Yoda is going to call in, Cologero, please tell everyone where they can find you and your work.
You can find me if you go to youtube.com/C for channel /C/Where We Go One We Go All with the number 1. And then in the info box of every one of my videos has my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook. I'm mostly doing my stuff on YouTube, so I'm not on them all the time. But those are ways you could follow me. Sometimes I'll post things I'm finding as I'm finding them that you'll see in a video 2 weeks later. But yep, that's the best way to find me.
All right, excellent. All right, somebody said that Baby Yoda's name is Kenny, so I'm going to believe you on that one. Say, Kenny, Baby Yoda, call in on the next program, you guys. Don't forget, too, that tomorrow night I'm going to be appearing, on Sunday night, I'm going to be appearing on God's Guy with LT and We Know.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah, you can check that out. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. God's Guy, I think he already left for the evening. So, but, if you're watching right now, still God's Guy and Gina, then hello, and I'm looking forward to being on there with you guys tomorrow. So, yeah, give them a shot and go check out that show. It's going to be a great one. Me, LT, Guy, we all have plenty to talk about. Baby Yoda said, not sure if my device will work. It's an iPad mini. All right, it's no problem, dude. We'll do a test call, next time. But definitely, Baby Yoda, I want you calling into the show. I watched the finale of The Mandalorian tonight, and it was so good. All right, as always, thank you so much, Cologero. I had a great time with you tonight, buddy. I really appreciate it. You're welcome back anytime. I want to collab with you again in the future.
Absolutely, I'd love that.
Excellent, dude. We've got 4,200 people still watching. So as always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News for Friday night live stream. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.